Hi, everyone. I yesterday on my Facebook, and I don't know if I put it on here, I asked everyone to join me in a very simple exercise to call in basically equal abundance for all. And I'm going to set my crystal grid with the crystals that actually came with me to Arkansas while I talk to you a little bit about that more, and then also talk about the launch of my first two books and what those are about and how they align with what it is that I am asking us all to call in, which again is abundance or equality for all beings of the earth, right relationship with all beings on the earth. And so, yeah, so a few days ago, my first book went live, and I've sold one copy of that book so far. So it is available on my website, and it's available through Ingram Spark. And it is called Rape is My Reason. And it is about the rape culture. It is about how women and children have been systemically treated throughout our history and how we are not going backwards on that narrative. And it is a collection of essays that I wrote during Operation Metro Surge. I wrote on many different topics and I broke them out into what ended up being about 5 different books, with, of course, some things that I added on top of it. And the first one, the most important one to me, was about rape culture, which is why it came out first. If we cannot respect the feminine and give equal quality, equal time to the feminine, and start treating women as equal contributors, we're never going to get anywhere, honey. We carried you. We gave birth to you. That's a non-negotiable. And if we're not seeing with anything clear in that particular room, then we have a lot of work to do just as a basic person, as a human, because we're not even allowing respect for whether or not we're the same gender or not for ourselves. We're not respecting and demanding that respect as a mirror out into our governance, out into our leadership, out into our communities, out into our corporations. And if we are going to allow rape to continue to be not handled, and the amount of, I wrote about the number of rape kits, it's like something like 400,000 expired rape kits never got tested. Like, it's ridiculous. The Epstein files are ridiculous. Okay. That stuff cannot be carried forward. And my challenge to everyone when they're doing this is to really ask yourself the question, have I been true to my own self, to my own beliefs, or have somebody captured the narrative that I'm living inside? And am I either too afraid to talk about it, too afraid to do something about it, or too indoctrinated into something that told me something different, that I have a hard time letting go of some idealism that is just frankly not good enough for you, and it's not good enough for me? And the 250th anniversary, this astrology that we are going into, I've talked about it ad nauseum at this point. It is the worst astrology you will ever live through on the 250th anniversary of this country. And there's a reason for that, I think. I think you're going to see some really, it's already happening. I think you're going to see some really strong collapse narratives in the next week. And then I also think you're going to have the most beautiful astrology, which is why we are going to hold the line on right relationship for all beings. All beings deserve equal treatment. All beings deserve the right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness. There isn't anyone that should not be given some opportunity here. There is no one that should be judged just for the color of their skin. There is no one that should be judged just for what their belief system is. There is no one. I mean, no one that doesn't have the same right to humanity and the same oneness consciousness source inside of them that you and I do. We all come from that single source spark of energy. And we need to remember that now. Humans are not devoid of that knowledge. They have forgotten themselves along the way. And our energy to raise that vibration right now is necessary. And the book that I'm putting out today, rocks are hard. The book that I'm uploading today so that it's available on, you'll see me do this, so that it's available on the 4th of July is called Operation Metro Surge Ice Out. And that's my book on racism. That's what that's about. That's about people having their rights stripped and being treated inhumanely for the color of their skin. And people got killed during that for standing up for their neighbors. And there is not, stand up. I want to ask you whether or not you're actually living from your idealism right now. When you think about how you've responded to any of the things that have been happening in the United States, I think some people may still be in support of MAGA somehow, some way. Don't ask me how, if you're still there. I don't know what to say. They are authoritarian. I've written 5 books about it. That is an authoritarian regime. That is the same as Hitler. And they are trying to coup the government. They've already done that with some websites. So if you're still in that mentality, you're not going to hear this mouth say anything different to you other than that is an authoritarian fascist regime. And if you haven't figured that out yet, that is what propaganda does. This is not time to be quiet about, it is not devoid of spirituality when you're literally making sure that you have the freedom to be able to practice doing crystal energy healing if that is your spirituality. If we do not make sure that that happens now, then we are going to lose our rights to have freedom, to do what we want to do and speak how we want to speak, right, wrong, or indifferent. And that is already happening. I guess I only have the Turkish. That is Turkish amethyst that I am starting off with. And Turkish amethyst has a connection to Turkey. And Turkey is Göbekli Tepe. And Göbekli Tepe is one of the oldest archaeological sites in our world. And to me, it goes very much back to the roots of our humanity before language stole our brains and brainwashed us to believe certain narratives that just absolutely are not true. There is no doctrine on this earth that is a truth. There is science, and science is moving constantly. It's constantly moving. The reality around us is constantly changing. That's how the universe actually works. That's why you can look at 100 years ago or 200 years ago or 500 years ago. It doesn't look the same. It moves. You are going to move as well. So this helps me connect back to that origin story and remember a time when I wasn't indoctrinated by someone else's belief system. Amethyst. This is the heart that I was working with from Little Missouri River Falls. That was where we did our major activation in with the river and the water. Was not the only place that we did water work, but it was our major crystal grid setting. And then there we gave back. We gave back to the earth. We gave a piece of amethyst to the earth. We gave some black tourmaline to the earth there. We this rock did come from there, so I was like, oh, I did get a rock from there. But it is the heart rock that I've been taking a lot of pictures with recently. Ouch. Yeah, so and then I'm gonna put all of the black tourmalines that we had out there. The four of us were together, and these are all going to go around in a center. I'm going to do some circle work here because the earth is a circle, the globe. And my crystalline DNA students right now are working with the sphere. They're working with spherical energy. If you want to do that, you can imagine. The closest thing I can tell you is when water reflects on like a white wall, um, and you see that sort of wavy feeling that comes in like this, sort of like that's the energy inside the sphere for me. It's very malleable and it's the energy of spirit. It's the energy of our higher self that we're working with inside of the spherical energy as we work through the higher um, levels of our crystalline DNA. So black tourmaline helps the earth with the EMFs. It helps the earth with um, not absorbing so much of the negativity. You know, our waters are programmable. All right. Next, I have one piece of this. I have more of these available in the shop. If you, well, I know you haven't seen them because I haven't had anybody here since I got them. 'Cause I got them right before I left. So the shop is open today and it's by appointment only. So you just have to go schedule. This is peridot and diopside and spinel on a volcanic rock base. And I did a live about these the other day, talking more about this energy. But this to me is very much what we need to do with our heart energy right now. It's like if we were to drop into our heart, there's no way we'd be acting the way that we've been acting, you know? There's no way we would support something that harms children, that harms women, that harms people of color, that does all kinds of nasty nonsense thing, that says all kinds of nasty nonsense language. Like we wouldn't tolerate being talked to that way. So I need everybody to think about, where have you tolerated in your life being talked to a way that's not appropriate to be talked to? And where did you think that that person had the right to do that? Because we have leadership right now who talks to us in a way that's not appropriate to be talked to. And we do not have to stand for that. This is that energy coming out of us saying, no, everyone gets equal opportunity. We are sorry if we didn't see that the right way, but we forgot to take care of ourselves first. We forgot to set boundaries and we forgot to demand what it is that we need for our own living rooms, for our own heart, for our own selves. Peridot helps clear away the things that aren't soul connected. A soul person, a person acting from their soul, would never speak to any humans the way that Donald Trump speaks to humans. I'm just going to use that name. And then you can just tick off the boxes as you go down the line of that fascist authoritarian regime's propaganda. Ugh. We're clearing it from our hearts. We don't get treated that way by anyone, ever. No one gets treated that way by anyone, ever. right in the center of this grid. Now, the next thing we're going to put are the moss agates that I had out. I had these moss agates with us. And the reason why I brought moss agate, and these moss agates will eventually be available, and I will keep them separated so that those of you who do ritual know that you're getting ones from the rituals that we were doing, both in Arkansas and then through the 22nd. And yes, it does matter. So we are going to put some moss agates around in a circle as well. Again, moss agate energy is Mother Earth energy. If you look at these, the green and the white, sometimes they have, this one has like even purple in it. They can look very, very different, but they are healing Mother Earth energy. Moss agate is healing Mother Earth energy. And so anytime I'm doing any kind of work that connects into the earth, and this absolutely connects into the earth, the EPA has been stripped. There aren't any rules right now. Look at what's happening with data centers. Come on now. That's why those guys paid so much money. $25 million Greg Brockman paid. Okay. He's the co-owner of OpenAI. $290 million Elon Musk paid. And he was on the TV saying, if Donald Trump doesn't get elected, I will be going to prison. That is true. That is ridiculous. I want you to think about that amount of money that was put into a propaganda campaign filled with lies. He hasn't done anything that he said he was even going to do. He's done a whole bunch of stuff he promised he wouldn't. So if anybody's still stuck there, or you have anybody still stuck there, my question to you is, have you been quiet? Are you closing your lips in a authoritarian regime's rulership, which is how they gain power? People get afraid, so they won't say anything. They won't say anything in their living rooms. We are still in power here. We are in power with our midterm elections, and we will take the power back in this country. And then we have seen all of the holes, and it is not good enough. For me, progressive policies are not progressive. Progressive policies are what's called being a human and demanding humanity for all people. Get rid of that. Get if you don't think that other people deserve what you deserve, and you don't think that you deserve a fair shot like everybody else, get rid of that. That's toxic. That's this work that we are doing between the 4th of July and the 22nd of July. All that toxic energy that we've been taught, gone. Gone from the earth, gone from her waters, gone. That is the work I've been doing for a couple of years now with the water. It's taking effect. We're tired. And we're not interested in tyranny. We're interested in love's the only thing strong enough to live in this world. And we're interested in being able to step into the full embodiment of who and what we are as humans. Not being kept in fights, not being kept in wars, not being kept in less than narratives. Those frequencies, we release them, and we release them from the earth. We have lived through them. We thank them for their lessons. We have had it over and over and over again. And the patriarchy can die on that freaking note. Equality means we understand we are all male and female inside, and both are necessary and both are positive, and we are going to bring balance to ourselves and balance to this earth. That is the work that we are doing. My beautiful friend Marla, when we were in Pipestone, got me this absolutely beautiful, I call it it's not just a white buffalo, but it's partially white buffalo. It carries white buffalo woman's energy for me. White buffalo woman could make grown men weep by walking onto a field where they were fighting. Her beauty and the beauty of that buffalo, she would walk on there and she would make grown men stop and cry. She is not the only goddess in history to do that, but that is this energy. And I am calling on the energy of her and any of the other goddesses that want to be here to help us bring this energy forward. White Buffalo Woman from Pipestone, Minnesota. The Stone of Peace on a land that did not stay peaceful. Ever, really, if I'm being honest with you. So that was always a goal and not achieved. But now is the time in human history for us to work together to be able to demand world peace. World peace. Hmm. This piece also came from Arkansas. Kind of fits like a puzzle. That's a piece of quartz, a very interesting one. It has a grid pattern on it. I'm going to set that here. All right, I got one more bag. It's malachite. Malachite is a lot of things. It's a physical healer. It's the stone of transformation. And in this particular instance, we are using the copper, which conduces energy in this malachite, to send out the energy of transformation. Because again, we have lived this epocho over and over and over again. And my belief is that we are, some people would call it, we are moving from a 3-4 dimensional to a 5th dimensional or higher frequency, or more available of understanding our inner power and bringing that inner power out online. It is what my students and I are working on for ourselves. You can only do it for yourself. You can only allow it in for yourself. You can only seat your soul for yourself. No one else can do that work for you. But when you seat your soul, you understand everyone is equal, but you also understand what it's going to take in order for us to be a cohesive unit. No more borders and divisions and all that thing. And I'm not saying that there won't be, but the age of Aquarius is actually very decentralized. So it'll be interesting to see what the universe has in store for us when some of this patriarchy stuff, which appears to be gasping its last crazy breath out there, having some of us going, are you fucking kidding me? Excuse my French. Not on my watch and not with this body or anybody else's that I know. And certainly not with my grandchildren, and that's book 2. Operation Metro Surge, Ice Out. That book again is about racism. Pipestone is in there, and our experience with Pipestone and the work that we did there. It's not separate. My books are not spiritual. Your root chakra, sacral chakra, and solar plexus chakra are not separate from your spiritual experience as a human. And if they are not safe, you are not safe. And who's responsible for making that safe? We are. We're responsible for demanding through our power in numbers that we are not going to tolerate not being safe anymore or not being respected. Emotional. What are you coming at with me? What are you coming at to it? What are you saying about me? It's not true. What brain leeches are you trying to put on my brain that some idealism about women or whatever's 31,000 times that man lied in his first presidency and we still elected him. You can't do this without getting to the truth. And yeah, that's a higher chakra, but we're there. And the truth has come to light and we have seen it exposed and we will not go back. We will not be quiet. And we will not refrain from having conversations in our living room with people who are still supporting tyranny. That is the transformation I am calling on for everyone to find their throat chakras with this stone of transformation and use the copper, which helps move energy down that pipeline. All right. This is a Vogel. These I do 108 healings with. The number 108 is something that I work with always, and it's been worked with throughout history. It's got some interesting, like how it's divisible by certain things. And anyway, I'm going to put this at the center going up, and this grid will stay out here during this whole time. This is where I will come every day that I'm here to activate. I have a couple days where I won't be here to activate, but I will be at Swan Lake probably for that, and I will activate there. I don't know yet for my Brandon's birthday. All right. This is a spiderweb jasper that I found when I was mining, and I love spiderweb jasper to work on cord cutting. So what I want to do is release any energies and emotions that are not ours. We have all these energies and emotions coming at us, even when we don't know, even if you don't have the news on, even if you're not paying attention. We have all of these energies always coming at us, coming at us, coming at us. Okay. And those can be called attachments. And that energy can attach to you, whether it's sent directly to you or whether it's sent in another way. And it's why we work so hard at maintaining that intention around clearing, cutting, canceling, and deleting through all timelines and all dimensions. Any attachments we have to negative energy, any attachments our soul group has to negative energy, and you can hold a piece of spiderweb jaspers with the little spider webs on it and see the little spider webs go ding, 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 back to their owner, back to the person who made it. Okay. Somebody who might have thrown a spell. Words are spells. That's how it works, right? So somebody who might have thrown a spell of negativity your way, use the spiderweb jasper. So we're going to be using that to cut away any cords that are coming at us that are trying to negate what we are working at, which is right relationship with all. Right relationship for all humans, right relationship for all things on the earth, reciprocity. That is also going to go at the center here. Oh, that's really cool looking. Mhm. It looks like an hourglass at the center because they both sort of were that shape. So now I have the heart and an hourglass in the center. The time is now. You know, hourglasses represent time. All right, I got Mother Mary here. We're also going to be working with her energy. She was out there with us. Mother Mary represents the Divine Mother. This is unconditional love. This is remembering, this is the mother who gave birth to why I always say walk as, don't wait for. And that is what Jesus was trying to tell everybody all along. And if you got caught up in that doctrine that was made in 300 and all along the way in that St. James version of that book, no. Okay. Go listen to the Gospel of Thomas stuff. We're taking it slow and easy over there. No, that was not the actual messaging. Most of that book that they're using now, not the actual messaging. Sorry. So you need to take your Jesus back and you need to recognize where you were taught something about that individual. If that was something that you studied, where they told you anything but love's the only thing strong enough to live in this world. Because that is what he was trying to teach you. And he was trying to teach you that you have to walk as that. You don't wait for a savior to come. We do everything in our power. And one of the things we have to do, if we're going to do that, is recognize equality for all. Mary, he sat with the lepers, folks, when everybody else wouldn't, okay? And all the other beings of that time period that were considered dirty or whatever the heck they were back then, right? There's your actual proof right there in that doctrine, hidden right in plain sight. You cannot have it both ways. Most of that stuff he never wrote, first of all. He never wrote anything down. Not that we have. Matter of fact, we don't even have archaeological proof that he actually exists. That's how crazy that story is. So what we have is some stuff that was written 30 to 40 years later by some people. And the guy whose most of it is in there, Paul, never met Jesus. Never met him. What are you following? If you're following that, what are you following? Okay. Mary was his mother, and she knew, and she was connected to angelics and all kinds of things. So I would just say one of the galactics down at one point to help move humanity forward, certainly during that time period did. Now it's holding us back from stepping into our full empowerment. And the doctrine of that is falling apart. That's part of what's happening. That's just happening. People are just walking away from that doctrine. This is my bridge crystal. I've been working with this one for years now. You see the bridge in the center? And this is what we are here. We are bridge nodes, Nodes. And what a bridge node does is it helps people walk across the bridge from what some people again call 3D to 5T, or what I would just say is unconsciousness to consciousness. This is the bridge of consciousness, and we're walking you across it. If you have consciousness, you wouldn't uphold tyranny. Walk across that bridge. That's the work we're doing. I didn't talk about that yellow one. Oh, good, I found that. I'm going to go ahead and put Tara's owl out here. This belongs to somebody. I ordered this for someone, but the owl has been with us. I'm going to put that out here. The owls represent wisdom. This is a serpentine owl. It looks a little different than most serpentine, but serpentine is a very calming, peaceful energy. We want peace for everyone. We want ease for everyone. We don't think that's too much to ask. We don't think, oh, it's always been that way, so we have to have it that way. No, no, we do not. And no, we will not. Not on our watch. We aren't making anything great that has never been great. All right, I've got a few Hagen more. I don't remember what they're called. They're really cool quartzes that have a lot of different, I will just say, information on them. And I'm just sort of going to put them on the outside here. I'm going to put them around the outside. And I did a whole live on these, but they represent the hidden underneath, the hidden underneath. So one of the things is anything that's left that's hidden will be revealed. Okay. We want anything left that's hidden to be completely revealed. That means we want the entirety of the Epstein files and we want them adjudicated. We want people who have been responsible for raping children to be held accountable for rape. That's not too much to ask. That is a step in the right direction for protecting women and children that needs to happen and should have happened. Why did it ever not? That's my freaking question. And why would we even be arguing about this stuff? That's my other freaking question. That's why in my blueprint, and yes, the blueprints are available. In my blueprint, my moon sign says, I am an activist who is speaking passionately. That's my role, to get my voice out, to be a tuning fork for some people, to get you to go on this stuff. This is ridiculous conversations with me at this point. I don't understand anyone who tries to explain any of this away. It means you're very much in your head about what has been planted there, and it is time to free you of those leeches. Yeah, I am the walking crystal skull. Just is. So, skulls are something that I use for ancestral healing. As we do this work, we heal timelines. We're asking our ancestors to help heal all of these timelines that they're out of here now, but they're not. They're all around us and everything we do. That's why we need to be in white relations with all of our relations, because they may very much be your relations. At this point, that's pretty much where I'm at with it. With what I've seen, they can become anything that can be manipulated by nature. Okay? Right relationship. Also, there's a lot of rainbow coding in that, and I'm calling everybody to receive all their coding. And yeah, it's causing some people to go a little sideways. We got to go through it. We got to get through it. The center of this, I get the whole thing is about abundance for everyone, equal opportunity for everyone, division of wealth at the top. This is ridiculous. And they bought their way in to be able to do more. It's ridiculous. Okay? We're putting this at the center. Citrine, the stone of the merchant, the stone of luck. It's the stone of making your dreams come true. It's a stone of feeling it and believing it with every fiber of your being, letting yourself be freed of whatever else you've been told about abundance and allowing abundance to flow naturally to you. think this is a little bit of that. All right, these are my chumpy stones. These are carved by the Peruvian shamans. Where I studied for shamanism wasn't in Peru, but it was the Mune Kai tradition. And the chumpy stones are connected to the seven bands of power. So these chumpy stones are um, and then those seven bands of power, like many of the things that we study, end up being pretty similar to their energy centers. And so there's seven of them. Like there's seven chakras, interestingly enough. And I don't think that that is something that we should ignore when we're doing our rituals. So mine are connected to that tradition. And so I will be placing these. I'm not exactly sure where. I'm going to place these maybe later, but I'll show you one or two of them. This is the first band, and it has a hummingbird on it. Each of their bands comes with a different power. So there's a hummingbird, there's a jaguar, there's a moon, there's the snake or the serpent, there's an eagle, there's the sun, and there's plant medicine. Okay. And so we'll be working with all of those powers as well. And I'll let you think about what those powers mean to you. But those are the powers. I will set them up strategically in this garden. I may actually set them over by the ancestors, but they will be up. This is like a piece of tiger's eye that I found. I'm going to put that. Tiger's eye is another very protective stone, but it helps you move forward. It protects you when you are moving forward. It's like malachite, it's one of the travel protection stones, and this should be considered a travel. You know, we're traveling from unconsciousness to consciousness as a humanity. And that's a big shift for people. That's a big shift for people to start to realize that they're empowered to do something with their own life. They're not just flailing around here being blown by the wind with nothing to do. This is the feather that I found. I found this one at Minnehaha Falls. I'm going to put the flight of the feather. I thought it was I'm not sure what it is. I originally thought I wrote about it as a raven feather, but when I look at it now, I am not 100% sure. It's got some interesting markings on it that make me think it could be any number of things. So it's just going to represent flight, air, movement. Oh, wow, I've got a baby one too. This one wasn't out, but I am going to put this one out. I have a baby buffalo, and this one is ancestry connected. I bought this because it was right after I had been to the cemetery to do some work at Amor. And it's larvikite, which is what my great great grandparents' stone were. They were from Norway, and larvikite is a Norwegian stone. So we've got a stone we know is from Turkey. We've got a stone we know is from Russia, Sharite, Russia. Okay. We have a stone that we know comes from Norway here. Trying to think if I have anything else that I know where the storm came from. Obviously, I have some stones that I picked that I know came from Arkansas. So this one, oh my God, look at this one. Look at the markings on that. It's Phoenix energy to me. You see the bird rising in the center. We're gonna stand that up. I'm gonna stand that up in the center. You're not gonna be able to see it, but oh, okay. Let's see what else I got in here. I got a piece of Nephrite jade. This is connected to Nefertiti. Nephrite jade. Nephrite jade is about manifesting as well. It's about luck. It's about believing your luck has already come in and surrendering to that happening. Okay. So that's what we're doing with this one. Believing our luck has already come in and surrendering to that happening. We're going to put that in that center as well. Sometimes I just make a little puzzle. I always do that when I go on a trip. I'll take my pieces and make a big puzzle and put all of the pieces of the trip together by making that puzzle. And it is amazing how cool that always turns out. So try it sometime if you're somebody who goes on trips and brings a few things back. Or in the case of Arkansas, we brought a lot of things back. I did it with the slate pieces that I picked up at Lake Ouachita. Um, I did a whole healing in that lake as well. But that was a more personal or private. Everybody was kind of doing their own thing there, but I did a 4 directions prayer inside that water, similar to what Marla taught at our Pipestone retreat. So this is a Madagascar agate, but this is my eye. This is my seeing eye. So I want people's sight, their vision to come in. I want people to be able to see clearly and to remember clearly, not what they've been indoctrinated in, not what they've been taught throughout the years, not the narrative they've been told, but the reality of who and what we are and what it is that we deserve as a individual, thusly mirroring out into every single individual on this planet. End of story. Nothing makes you more special than me. Nothing makes me more special than you. We are all God's children. I want us to remember and see that clearly and then act accordingly, not follow the doctrine that keeps us acting the other way. We'll put that right there. All right. I got some more. If my phone doesn't die, I have the grandmothers here. My grandmothers are these 2 chrysocolla crystal skulls. This is the stone of the goddess. I'm going to put the grandmothers right on these angel wings that are in front of me. The grandmothers can be right there, keeping watch. They're facing the ancestral garden as well. These are the grandmothers throughout your lineage. This is all of the grandmothers, the 5,000 or whatever ridiculous number that is. If you look it up, how many of those people had to be born at exactly the right time, and exactly the right blah for you to come out the way you are. It is that we're remembering, and we're sending healing back through all of those timelines in our lineage to clear this density from our reality. Oh, mosquito. This is a piece that I found on my property. And I found a few things that lead me to believe that white settlers were not the first people here. And I have a sign when you come here that says you are on Dakota land. And I do a lot of ritual around here to honor all of the beings, all of the relations of the land, and to also do work with those timelines where all the things happened here. Okay. That's what this would be for, would be for healing all of the timelines around times in human history where whole groups of people have powered over other groups of people in order to take something that didn't belong to them, because land can't actually be owned. I will die someday and my land will go to my kids. What happens someday if somebody has this land? Somebody, it's long term, you don't ever own your land. You borrow it for the time that you're here. Think about that. You're always paying rent to someone on something that you're borrowing for a time. And doesn't everybody have an equal shot at having a decent place to live? The answer to that is yes. All right. I got a few more things here. I got the lungs, which are made of thulite, also from Norway, and Norwegian is a big part of my heritage. So these lungs, I use these often when I'm doing lung healing. So this would be about healing the lungs of the earth. If you're thinking about healing the lungs of the earth, the air quality, um, helping her anywhere where she's having trouble breathing, letting go of pressure. Obviously, when the earth has to let go of pressure, that can be very destructive. And I do believe that the earth is going to be one of the places you should definitely be paying very close attention to during this time frame. And I do believe it's going to have something to do with fire, and it already is, and air. So, and also things shifting with the water and the earth as major things move away from water and earth energy. We even have Jupiter in Leo, and Jupiter I think is 7 years. So we have a lot of slow moving planets in fire and air right now. So this is my Aunt Carolyn. She is the most recent um, death in our family, in my lineage. And she loved rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite is a heart healing stone. It heals relationship with self and relationship with others. It is a right relationship stone, and it can help draw you back into right relationship if there's somewhere where you have fallen out of right relationship with humanity itself, with the earth herself, with all of this beautiful energy that you see around me here in Merlin's woods. And yes, Merlin is still in a portal. The egg going right up here at the top. I'm going to put it right up here at the top. And I also have I have a pipestone here, and it's a beaver. So beavers are about building things, building their house builders. Their energy is very much about, taking care of your home, taking care of your living room, taking care of your own people, making sure that everybody at home is getting what they have. We are not doing that right now. We are not doing that right now as as citizens of the United States of America. We've work to do. We've work that we need to demand that we do. The beaver will help us build that house. The beaver will help us remember the work that it takes to build that house together. I want it in the center. I don't know if it's going to stay. Oh, maybe there. All right. And then I have Sigilite. This is the strongest protection stone on the planet. It invites in Archangel Michael energy. My battery's dying. I got 10% left, so I got to wrap up. So Sigilite is the other thing that's going in here. And this can just go kind of in the center. I thought I had 4. I thought I had 4. Mm, well, oh, there's more here. Yeah, I do have 4. I also have the turtle. This represents Turtle Island. Turtle Island is what many of the native cultures to North America call this continent. This is Turtle Island. You live on Turtle Island. And so this is again bringing healing for our continent, Turtle Island. Oh, she doesn't want to stay there. I'm going to put her over here. She doesn't want to be over there. All right. And then here's more Sigilite. So I do have the 4. So I'm just going to sort of 4 direction those. I am facing pretty much perfectly north right now. So this is a petroleum quartz. I've worked with these in so many different areas. I only have one here with me. I'm going to just place it on the outside of this. Actually, I'm going to have this facing the east. And I'm going to move this one. Sunrise energy with that petroleum quartz. There's another feather. We'll stick a feather in her cap. That one I can't remember. That one might have actually been from Arkansas. Then I just have a few more things. Here's my mother hanging out here. A few pieces of quartz from Arkansas from that trip where we did a lot of right relationship sort of work. We started to work on Pen Pals, which is a new part of the organization here that I'll be talking about more later. I've got a couple beautiful Herkimer diamonds somewhere that I just activated when I was on the Freedom Node tour. Another beautiful Herkimer diamond. Herkimers will raise the energy and the vibration of this prayer. They will amplify the energy of every single crystal that I used here. This is my mother and child. What I wrote about in Rape is My Reason. What we need to make sure we protect. If we can't protect this, what are we protecting? Pretty ridiculous at this point. I'm going to put that right on the bridge. And then the last piece that I grabbed here is the Mount Shasta. This is the next major retreat. We'll have a couple small ones before then, but the next major retreat is in Mount Shasta, California. This is a piece of hematite, the center of the earth, the core of the earth, healing from the center, healing from the core up. Same in you, healing from the center, healing from the core up. Safety, security have to be first in order for you to have full access to everything that is available to you. All right. So the mantra is there is enough abundance for everyone. There is enough abundance for everyone. We call in abundance for everyone. We call inequality for everyone. And over the next several days, we will be going through, again, some of the darkest, most difficult or densest with Mars conjunct Uranus in Gemini on the 4th of July. That's tomorrow. It's already close to exact. All right. And then the 19th through the 22nd, we have 4 outer planets sitting at the 4 degree. And that's the building block number. So that's why we're working on building the future energetically that we want to see. And then we're making our actions out in the world and our voice match what it is that we want, not what it is that we think somebody else wants to hear. Peace and blessings on the 250th anniversary of a country that still has a long ways to go to actually give life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to all people. Come see me. We're going to be open tomorrow, and I'm going to have a table out and healings and all the things. Come see me at the shop if you haven't been. Please order the book if you have not done that. Eventually, I will have some of those here, but not till all 3 are done. I'm going to order them all at the same time because it'll save me money on shipping, and that's a big expense. So, for right now, I'm going to be going to small bookstores and talking to them. And as soon as I get all 3 of those books in that series up so that it makes sense for me to go put my energy out there and talk about what it is that my mission is, which is to make sure that people can find their voice. Happy 4th of July. Find your voice.